brought something for you, sweetie. It's a cabbage.
So, like with all these movies, I found it in Amazon's animated section. And what I thought I came across was just another poor animated movie, you know, just a low-budget, generic animated movie for kids. By God, was I wrong. So, without further ado, this is A Goat Tale, Old Prague Legends. Set in 14th century Prague, this movie revolves around a man called Jimmy and his pet goat, who is in love with him. I'm not joking, but I'll get onto that later on. It's actually an historical film about the opening of the Prague astronomical clock in 1380. And firstly, they did a fantastic job of making the Middle Ages seem disgusting.
Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that?
They did a job which was way too good, arguably, because it's so unbelievably hard to watch. It seems they put all their efforts into making the film nauseating, and they were very, very successful in that regard, but that's the only praise this film gets from me. This film is a roller coaster of confusion, unbelievable disgust and depression, surprisingly. Granted, it is easier to follow than some of the other films that I've seen, but that doesn't matter. I was taken off guard about how shockingly dark this movie is. The driving plot is about a bullied student making a deal with Satan himself to get revenge on those who wronged him. This results in an old man being blinded by a hot nail.
The clock. Must see the clock.
And his daughter nearly being hanged to death. You have a look at the cover art and it's deceivingly innocent. Like, it says utterly funny on it. Well, it wasn't utterly funny, it was utterly depressing. I get that the Middle Ages was shit, but the balance of light-hearted stuff and dark stuff in this movie is way off. The contents of this film consist of people dying on screen, multiple skeletons, a crucified corpse in front of the church, the devil himself, grave robbing,
Here we go.
the characters constantly getting drunk, and a non-stop barrage of breast shots. Like, it's constant. There's scenes of females getting undressed, a non-stop barrage of cleavage. If I had to guess, there's about 30 to 40 cleavage shots in this movie. There's a scene where the mayor and his friends are inspecting the new clock. They look through a telescope and this happens.
That's all you need. You should be able to see.
See,
Beautiful.
that is a lovely star. I see 2 stars.
Like, now at this point I was wholly aware this wasn't aimed at children. But if you look on Amazon, it's clear some parents have bought this for their kids because of the very, very deceiving box art. Like, nothing on there implies that this film is full of sex, naked women, grave robbing and death. However, if you saw the thumbnail, I'm pretty sure what you're most interested in is the vile love triangle between Jimmy, the blonde girl, and his goat. I'm not sure if this is a product of the English dub, because in the sequel the goat is male, and in this film the goat's female. But they make no effort to suggest they're just friends. There's a bar scene where the goat drunkenly asks if they can get married.
Jimmy, will you marry me?
That just wouldn't work out at all. No, not at all.
It's because I'm a goat, isn't it? It's because I'm a goat.
Well, maybe a little bit.
What does that mean, a little bit? Is he considering it? They spoon together.
Good night, goat. Good night.
The goat constantly asks who he prefers, her or the blonde girl, and she's constantly jealous.
What are you doing?
What's over here?
That, surprise, surprise, he chooses the female character over a fucking goat. Yeah, so it's the worst I've ever seen. Yeah, it's... Every female in this movie has that kind of design. Like, Katie's job in this movie is to go around the construction site and give nails to the workers by storing them in her cleavage, and then she just pours them out into the buckets. On top of that, it's not just the female characters. They stand out the most, obviously, but every character in this film is ugly. Like, it's not common for a movie to put me off eating my food entirely, but this abomination managed it. I was eating dinner while watching this movie, and in some scenes I just couldn't eat. Even the normal characters look awful. Like the main character Jimmy, he's not the worst, but he's still vile to look at. A lot of the characters in this film remind me of just emaciated corpses. They're disgusting. Then there's characters like my personal least favourite character, this fat priest with a really spotty nose. All the characters in this film, well, all the male characters anyway, have really disgusting rashes, spots and scars that they're constantly itching and scratching.
I was thinking about this horse. We got a horse outside.
It's a horrid sight that only succeeds in putting you off watching the movie. I know it's like, you know, they're likely doing it to how shitty the Middle Ages were, but I'm sure there's plenty of movies that can portray how awful they were without making me feel ill. There's also characters that just don't make any sense being in the film at all, like this weird furry creature with only legs, a headless horseman, skeletons who are alive, and my personal favourite, the devil himself. Like, he plays a role in the movie, but all he does is play cards. Like, that's not an exaggeration. There's 15 scenes with him playing cards against mortals, and then he just fucking disintegrates 2 people.
The game is over and I win
Don't fun up
again.
my customers.
Come to me, man.
On top of the design, the characters aren't even likeable. We know nothing about 99% of them, and the ones we do follow are just awful. The main character loses his job when he kills 6 people in an accident on the screen. And the next scene is ha ha funny, let's get drunk in a pub. Like, Katie, his girlfriend, nearly gets hanged for one murder she didn't commit.
You're right. She's the one.
Then the goat takes her place and gets hung to death. Oh yeah, no, I forgot to mention, the goat dies by hanging in this movie. I'm not joking. They actually show the body. But yeah, you know, she nearly gets killed for one murder, and this guy fucking kills 6 people and gets away scot-free. And they know it's him as well, because they chase him away from the scene. Right, so this film is terrible. There's no section on quality or voice acting, because while it was bad, I've seen a lot of movies like this on Amazon, and it really wasn't anything that terrible. It was shit, but it wasn't anything that unique. However, in a weird way, I would suggest watching this movie, because while I was watching this, I hated it, but I couldn't look away. I was in this weird state of bewilderment, thinking, wow, what the fuck am I watching? However, what does stand out is the blatant attempt by the producers to market this as a kids movie. There were 2 rather lengthy reviews on Amazon saying they picked this film up for their kids because of the deceivingly innocent box art, and were surprised when they were met with a film about a goat trying to shag our owner and who ends up being hung to death. The awful gross out humour, very sinister adult themes, an insane amount of nudity and suggestive scenes, you can see why they were angry. Anyway, watch this movie if you want a truly unique stomach churning experience. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.